Professor McIntyre,
Yes.
you have a long list of history with the notorious Charlton Heston.
I miss him every day of my life. I knew him for 27 years. I read the prayers of the faithful at his memorial service. Wonderful man, taught me a great deal. One of my mentors.
So you also used to teach philosophy at Santa Barbara City College, a prestigious
That's correct.
institution.
That's correct. Yeah,
So,
I did.
I mean, a lot of times I imagine just, your faculty, far left, crazy people, hippie people. I was there ever a time when any of that crowd integrated with the Charlton Ben-Hur gun-toting president of the NRA?
It's funny you should ask, Alex, because there actually was an overlap between my teaching philosophy at Santa Bumpkin Silly College, which I'm now going to rebrand as Santa Bolshevik Commie College. But there's with Charlton Heston. During the last years of my tenure there, I've taught for 23 years, one of the professors in my department started a program, not the one you're thinking of, by the way. We're not going to use his name. We're going to refer to him as Professor Stoner.
For certain
obvious reasons. Well, he was in the vanguard of legalizing marijuana, but that's not the story. The story is that this professor wanted to give Charlton Heston an award from the Santa Bumpkin Silly College philosophy department. An award. What? Because Chuck did a whole CD series, which I have here in my cabinet, a series about the great philosophers, describing the great philosophers.
I just wanted to give him a lump of fancy metal.
Well, he also wanted to put his arm around Moses and have Moses as, his buddy, right?
It's acclaimed atheist wants to work with.
Right. So Professor Stoner says to me, you're buddies with Charlton Heston. Why don't you propose to him that we give him an award and bring him here to the campus, and he'll make a speech, and that'll be good for the philosophy department and good for the magazine that we're publishing called Stoa. So I said, okay, I'll ask him. Okay, no problem. So I asked him, and he said, well, why don't we, so Chuck says, well, I've never met Professor Stoner, so why don't we have lunch together in Hollywood? My treat, of course. And let's discuss it over lunch at the Polo Lounge. Now, for the 7 of you in the world who don't know where the Polo Lounge is or how powerful it is, it's in Heavenly Bills. Yeah. It's now owned by Saudi Arabia, and they fly the Saudi flag next to the American flag, and it's causing a big kerfuffle. Anyway, this is several years ago. It was not owned by Saudi Arabia, so I set up with Chuck to bring Professor Stoner down to the Polo Lounge to talk about this award, the Charlton Heston Award. For this contribution that he had made to the literature of philosophy on CD-ROM. So as we're driving up to the Polo Lounge, Professor Stoner, who probably was, he decided that he was going to get to be buddy and try his Dale Carnegie routine on Charlton Heston, right? A man who's been to the rodeo several times in this regard.
Whoa, so as a recap.
So he says, Chuck is in the front seat. I'm driving the car, and Professor Stoner is in the back seat. And Professor Stoner says, well, Chuck, because now he could call him Chuck, right?
Oh, right. Chuck, lunch. Now he's on a first name basis with.
No, we haven't had the lunch yet. It's just the car ride, all right?
No.
Yes. He said, well, Chuck, he said, why did you come to Hollywood in the beginning? And Chuck, slowly, I could feel his brain cooking. Smoke was coming out of his ears and rising up, right? I could feel him trying to contain himself. So Chuck says, why did I come to Hollywood? I'm an actor. That's what I do for a living. I'm an actor. I pretend to be other people. is where you go if you want to pretend to be other people, Professor Stoner.
Professor Stoner got a little roasted there, you might say.
Anyway, that's only one of the very funny stories I have with Chuck, but thank you for asking, and thank you folks for listening to us and sharing our lunacy and our frivolity and our humor.
Among other things. Also, don't forget to continue to actually share this video, and don't forget to support us by being a patriotic patron person.
We do appreciate it. We do appreciate it.
We really do. Thank you very much. The spirit of Heston rests with you, at least that person.
God love that man. God love that man.